Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to our session on building your $1 million pipeline on LinkedIn. My name is Danielle Ceballos. I am the president of Kelly Roach International and several of our family of companies. And I am here to chat about my favorite social media platform. Before we get started, I would love to know where everyone is watching from. And then I want to hear one goal that you have from tonight's session because I'm going to cover a lot, but I have a few disclaimers before we get started. So let me know where you're coming from and then tell me what your major goal is when it comes to building on LinkedIn. And as you guys are dropping that in there, oh, we've got as far away as the UK. It's late for you. Wow, it's super late for you over there. All right, so I'm going to give you guys some context here so everybody is really clear on the angle we're looking at tonight, because there's obviously a million different ways that we could teach you LinkedIn and how to leverage it. And where we have seen the greatest impact is in really optimizing LinkedIn for sales. And I'm going to kind of give you a backstory on how we've done this. So I have worked with Kelly for over 5 years now, 6 years. And my original role was in our business advisory consulting company where we helped to coach 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs to scale their businesses. And we were doing large volumes of ads to do these large multi-thousand people launches. And we were also doing like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of registrations organically. And so we're using social media platforms, like Facebook. We had a huge Facebook group. We were obviously running Facebook ads, so that grew really quickly. And then we were using Instagram. And LinkedIn was sort of this afterthought for a really long time. It was like the boring platform that there was something very sexy about LinkedIn. We always had profiles there, but it was just sort of this like, we'll take the content from other places and just post it there and like just leave it, right? We didn't do a ton. When we needed a couple of extra sources for lead generation, we would go there. But for a long time, we had so much coming in from our ads. We're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on ads and organic on Facebook and Instagram, where, those ads were coming from, that we just didn't need LinkedIn. And we started to kind of dabble a little bit. I wanted to just kind of test it out to give us some more layers, more places to connect with people. And then one day, our Facebook account, my Facebook account, got hacked and took my Facebook account. It took 2 Instagram accounts because they were connected to my Facebook account. It took 4 ad accounts, y'all. 4 ad accounts. So we literally could not run ads in 4. We had 4 companies connected to my account, 2 Instagram accounts, my Facebook account. And overnight, literally it happened overnight. They hacked my Facebook, got me shut down completely. Like I could not get in. Our ads manager, he's still with us today, he could log in and see, but he couldn't edit or change. They kicked everyone out. They were actually spending money on our ad accounts while we were all kicked out, and we could see it. Like they were running ads to their own pages. Y'all, we went through so much. I mean, we connected with someone at Facebook very, very high up. They helped us, but it took almost 6 months to get everything restored. It was the craziest, most insane thing. Again, 4 different companies, 4 different credit cards had to be stopped, like everything. It was just nuts. And so that was a point where we were like, okay, we're going to double down on LinkedIn to give us an extra layer of protection. And thankfully, we had started to sort of build Kelly's profile over there and some of our high level team member accounts there. So we weren't like totally new, but we were definitely not all in. Like we were definitely not fully invested. We were, like I said, we were just kind of like using it as like, hey, this is just an extra layer, but there was no real like time investment. None of us really learned the platform because we were over here with like thousands of people on Instagram and Facebook. And so lesson number 1 from tonight is any account can be taken from you overnight and you want to have multiple accounts running. But what happened was we had to learn LinkedIn real quick. And so as we were trying to get everything restored and get new ad accounts set up and all the things, we were like, okay, we're going to dive in. And I like learned how to leverage this platform in a totally different way. And so what I want everybody to think through right now is, number one, do you have layers of lead generation in your business model? So however you're running your business, you have layers of lead generation where you are pulling in leads from multiple different places and bringing them into your sales process. And we're going to talk about a sales pipeline. But do you have multiple layers? And if not, it's time to consider so. Number two, if you are someone who you have your strength is writing, or you are speaking to people in corporate, or you are selling high ticket and you need to connect with people at a certain level in their life, that can 100% be done on Facebook and Instagram, but you will have to go through far more people to find those kind of diamonds in the rough than you will if you leverage the power of LinkedIn and use the search capabilities on the platform. The search capabilities on LinkedIn are not like the capabilities on any other platform. You can search based on revenue size, team size, location, and where they are. You can search by title. There are a million ways to search. And I kind of liken it to old school Facebook advertising, which doesn't exist anymore, and it is heartbreaking. This is when leads were like $2 for everybody. But old school Facebook advertising, you used to be able to target so specifically the exact person you wanted, their title, their interest. Like you could get so granular in your targeting that you could get your ad in front of the right people. That does not exist on Meta anymore, not in any kind of capacity that it used to. However, it does still exist on LinkedIn. The median average of income on LinkedIn is about 80K. The median average on Facebook and Instagram is around 40 to 50K. On LinkedIn, you are typically, if you're selling B2B, you are speaking to decision makers far more often than you are on the other platforms. And then what I love the most about LinkedIn is the mindset somebody is on in LinkedIn is very different. So I always think it's really, really important for everyone to think through, what is the purpose? Like, what is the frame of mind when someone is on a social media platform? And social media is kind of my jam. That's how I got started when I was helping Kelly build the first company. It was as the CMO. And then I built and run our marketing agency where we have overseen multiple accounts, including at one point, like 30 different LinkedIn accounts at one time. And so, which got a little crazy. That did get a little crazy. But we dove deep into this world. The mindset of somebody who is on Instagram or TikTok is entertainment. Someone is on Instagram to entertain themselves, to escape, to disconnect. That's why we all lay there in bed scrolling. You do it too. I do it. Don't lie. We all do it. It's fine. But the mindset of someone on that platform is a passive mindset. They are consuming, they want to be entertained, they want some fun, they want to disconnect, they maybe want to watch some videos from somebody who agrees with them or is telling a great story. That's the mindset of someone on Instagram. The mindset of someone on Facebook is connection. This is where all our like friends from high school are. This is where our crazy family is. This is where, that old uncle that's got the weird political views lives. Like this is where we go for our connections, like our real life connections, right? Like if you're in a book club in your city, you're posting on Facebook. People are on Facebook largely to make connections with people they already know. LinkedIn is a totally different vibe. LinkedIn is one of the only platforms where it's not going to be blocked at somebody's workplace. LinkedIn is one of the only platforms where people are coming to learn. They've stated their mission is to be the best place for professional and personal development. That's what they want to see on their platform. That's why LinkedIn Learning exists. People are in the mindset of work when they're on LinkedIn. They're looking for a job or they're hiring. They are looking at what thought leaders in their industry are doing. They're looking at what competitors are doing. People are on LinkedIn during the workday. They're not there to be entertained and watch someone dancing around, scrolling in bed. Like, who scrolls on LinkedIn at night? And nobody does that, right? We're all doing like the Instagram stuff at home when we're trying to be mindless. And when you're like in your professional work mode is when you're on LinkedIn, and when you're looking for articles, when you're looking for research, when you're looking for different opinions on things that are going on, you go to LinkedIn. So when you think about all the different purposes of the social media platforms that we have available to us, you can leverage each of those and for your business, and you can leverage them differently. I want to talk today about how to leverage LinkedIn to build your pipeline. Now, there are a million people, you can just go to LinkedIn. There are a million people on LinkedIn who will teach you how to hack the algorithm and get seen by lots of people. I don't care about that one bit. I do not care about hacking algorithms and getting seen by a certain number of people. I go to LinkedIn because I want to connect with people who will be buyers. I go to LinkedIn because I want to connect with people who are ideal clients. I go to LinkedIn because I am looking for specific types of people. I can search for them on the platform, connect with them, start conversations with them, and pull them into my sales process. Now, I have a lot to say about how we're going to do that on LinkedIn, but first things first, you have to have a sales process before you can leverage this. Everything I'm going to tell you tonight, number one, is something in some way, shape, or form that can be applied. Like, it might have to be adapted, but it can be applied to other platforms. But number two, it will be meaningless if you don't understand what a sales pipeline is, its role in your business, how it is different from marketing, and how to actually build and nurture relationships. Because everything I'm about to teach you about that's specific to LinkedIn is meaningless if you don't have a sales process. And it is shocking to me how many people in business are in a place where they don't have a sales process. And I understand why. And if you've been in our profit push for a little bit, we talked about this on day one. I totally understand why, because for several years, you could literally just market your business. You could just post stuff on social, do a couple live streams, and make tons of sales, even high ticket sales, with no relationship. And people just paid for stuff. They were just like, sure, here you go. Like, I want that thing. I haven't been jaded yet. I'm going to buy the thing. That has not been the case for the last at least 18 months. And so what has happened is everyone who was so reliant on marketing as a sales process is like, oh crap, what am I going to do? And so I understand why you might be in a position where you don't have a full sales process, but I'm going to tell you that nothing I teach you tonight is going to override your need to build a sales system. If you don't have one yet, we have our virtual business school. I'll tell you more about it later. You need to get in there. This is going to help you build a sales system, whether you use LinkedIn or not, but it's definitely going to be married so perfectly to LinkedIn. And we've got some killer bonuses tonight for people who do join us. And if you already joined us, you get these bonuses too. And they're about LinkedIn, so you're going to love them. But I do need to give that disclaimer because we're going to talk about how to find the right people, how to start conversations with the right people, how to increase your social selling score, what that even means, why it's important. And if you don't understand how to qualify people, well, first of all, how to find people, then how to qualify people, then how to have conversations and build rapport, then it doesn't matter how many people you find on LinkedIn. You're just going to find a bunch of people that you do nothing with. So we are going to talk about these things, but please know that if you don't have a fully dialed in sales pipeline and true A to Z sales system, number one, get in the virtual business school because you're going to be able to apply everything we teach to LinkedIn and all the other platforms. Number two, just know this is not going to, like, there's no magic wand in LinkedIn that helps you override a good sales process. Okay. LinkedIn is super powerful when you have a dialed in sales process, and it is worthless when you don't. Okay. So, ready to dive into LinkedIn. I do want to hear from you guys. How confident are you in your current sales process and being able to kind of plug LinkedIn into that? So when I say current sales process, I mean you have a clear understanding of who your ideal person is, what makes them qualified or unqualified, because we do want to unqualified people, what makes them qualified or unqualified. You know exactly what to search for to find them. Once you find them, you know how to start a conversation. Once you start a conversation, you know how to move that conversation into a sales conversation. And then once you have that sales conversation, you know how to close them. That's a sales process. And if you don't close them, you have a process for following up that will get you in front of them repeatedly so that when they are ready to buy, you are there. How confident are we in a process like that? Okay, if you're not confident, which I see some people saying here, VBS all the way. And again, I will tell you about that later. But this stuff that I'm teaching about LinkedIn, it's all going to layer on top of that. Okay, so hang with me. I'm going to give you an opportunity to build a sales process at the end. Stick around because the bonuses for tonight are like not so outrageous if you want to grow on LinkedIn. Okay. So the first thing to understand about LinkedIn is you can either optimize your approach for growth or you can optimize your approach for sales. And this is true on a lot of social media platforms, but on LinkedIn, those are much more opposed to one another. So what do I mean by that? On other platforms, you can still create content that is niche and specific, that can go like semi-viral and still get you in front of the right people. And so you're basically optimizing for both growth and sales. On LinkedIn, it's a little bit more difficult because often the content that is going to go very, very viral is going to be a lot more general and connect all kinds of people to you that are not actually going to buy from you. And the reason this is no good on LinkedIn is because you want to basically create complete alignment between who you say you are, which is your profile, who you bring into your network, which we're going to talk about today. So it's the people that are connected to you and following you, the content you create, and the conversations you're having. It is so much more important on LinkedIn to have alignment between those four things than it is on any other platform. On any other platform, you can have some random content that's like slightly related to your niche, but not 100% related. It can go viral and it can get in front of all the right people, but it doesn't have to be like super specific and you're not going to get dinged. It's not like on Instagram if you only work with like med spas and somebody who's got a gym follows you that they're going to kind of say, "Oh, that's content that they don't need." On LinkedIn, you're basically telling LinkedIn when you create your profile, this is what I talk about. This is who I am and this is who I'm for. And LinkedIn is constantly, their algorithm is constantly looking for proof of that in your content, in your interactions, and in your messages. So if you say, I work with business owners, making 8 figures in revenue, and then you start talking about how to make your first 10K in your posts, there's a misalignment there. And LinkedIn's algorithm is going to be confused and it's going to start suppressing your content. It's not going to show it to the right people and you won't gain any traction. If you say, I work with business owners and help them grow their business, and then you fill your connections with just anybody who reaches out, which is going to be a whole lot of sales reps and business development people, then you're going to tell LinkedIn, hey, these are the people I want in my network, and you're giving it conflicting information. So what's going to do? It's not going to know who to show your content to, and it's going to start pushing your stuff down. So the most important thing that everyone needs to understand about LinkedIn is that you have to have crystal clear specificity in your profile all the way through to the people you connect with and the content you create so that there is a consistency that trains the algorithm. This person talks about this. Does that make sense? So let me know if that's clear to everybody. I want you to, this is like foundational. If you don't take anything else with you tonight, this will help you skyrocket your results on LinkedIn. Okay, so What does that mean? That means you need to have a bomb.com profile that is so clear about how you help people and who you are for. You have to have a consistent content strategy. And I don't mean you have to always talk about one thing. The beauty of a personal brand is that you have some flexibility, but it has to make sense. So if you say, like, you run a marketing agency and then you're out here talking about like hormones and functional probiotics, that's not even a thing, but you're talking about probiotics, LinkedIn's going to be like, what? You say you're in a marketing agency. Why are you not talking about marketing? Why are you not talking about business? Like, that doesn't make sense. There's no consistency there. But if you say you run a marketing agency for personal brands and you talk about personal branding and LinkedIn and Instagram and video, and you throw in some stuff about business leadership, that's okay. That's enough variation where there's still consistency there. They're not going to be super confused by that because you are largely telling LinkedIn in your profile, I work with business owners who are building personal brands. So talking about business leadership is not going to be strange. It's not going to be like talking about probiotics. Does everybody get that? Does everybody make sense? Does that make sense in terms of like, you don't have to be so rigid where you talk about one thing, but you do have to be specific and there has to be consistency. So the first stop is a dialed in profile. There are a few things that everybody needs to understand about your profile, and that these are like non-negotiables. So hang with me. And then I do have an incredible bonus that has to do, well, it's not even a bonus. It's just a regular thing that has to do with profiles. But there are different pieces of your profile and they serve different purposes. So first thing that is super, super important, above the fold where you have your banner, your photo, and your headline. Okay, your banner, your photo, your headline. Your photo and your headline are the only things somebody sees when you comment on posts or do a friend request. Okay. The quickest way to be denied connections is to have no photo, a weird photo, or just to have some sort of like logo. Okay. Quickest way. I don't care if you are the president of the United States. If you don't have a photo in your profile, I will not connect with you. And it will be, I won't even read it. I don't even look at it. So your photo has got to be you facing the camera, personality, like don't be boring, don't do like a selfie that's random, like with you and your friends at a party, like not that kind of photo. This is a professional platform. So this should be a professional looking photo where you look like somebody I would want to be connected to. Okay, that's number one. Number two, that headline, again, it's the only thing people see when you comment and when you make a connection request. Okay, so that is all they see is your photo and that headline. And really, it's that first, 8 to 10 words in that headline. So, what you don't want to do is say, I'm a business development rep for a software company. Done. Nobody's connecting with you. They know that you're going to sell them. You don't want to say, well, I guess if you were VP of sales and you were looking for a sales job, you could say that. But if you're not and you're trying to make sales on LinkedIn, you don't want to say that. Ideally, what you want to do is something that's going to showcase an outcome you get for a specific person. I help founders build high impact personal brands. Done. Personal brand is in there for founders. That's all we need. We don't have to be clever. Please, for the love of all things, do not make up some weird title that nobody understands. Like if you're a life coach, say you're a life coach. Just say it. If you're a finance coach, just say you're a finance coach. If you teach investing, I teach women over 40 how to invest so they can build wealth. Don't be creative. Don't be silly. Just say what you do and who you do it for. Those two things alone will be responsible for 50 to 70% of your connections. And they're going to be what catches the eye of someone when you're commenting, which I'm going to talk about later. Your banner, you want to just make sure it's clear and that it, again, is in alignment. So it can be a company logo. It can be like another version of your I help statement. It can be, a lot of people will say like, I do this, but I'm a former like ex Google, ex whatever employee. You could do that, but it needs to be clear, concise. Don't put another photo on there. There's already a photo. It's fine. You already have your photo, especially don't put it on the left. If you're going to put a photo, put it on the right. but it needs to be clear and easily readable within like 3 seconds. Those three things are above the fold. They're the top, they're the cream of the crop. They are the most important parts. Next, your about section and your work history. There's a slightly different mindset I want you to have here. There's two things. The first thing is your about section should read like a sales page. So, who do you help? What are the results you get them? How can they work with you? Okay. But you want to be very, very intentional about the words you use, because LinkedIn is a search-based platform. So somebody can go into the search bar, type in whatever it is that you do, graphic designer in Atlanta, and if you have put enough keywords in your profile, you are going to pop up in that search. And that's a great thing. So we need to think a little bit like a copywriter and write a sales page, and a little bit like an SEO person and optimize for search terms, because those two things together are how you get found on LinkedIn, and people are searching all the time on LinkedIn. So it's really, really important that your about section does not read like a boring resume, like the cover letter of a resume, or like the top paragraph of a resume. That is not what we're doing in an about section. The about section is really like a little mini sales page. Like if you were going to write a sales page for who you work with, how you help them, the results you've gotten, and how they can take the next step, that's what goes in your about section. And then you want to have in your work history several key words that will help people understand what you do. So if our marketing agency is I'm optimizing my profile to basically be able to attract clients for our copywriting packages. I'm going to put all of that in my about section, but then I'm also going to pull out all of the past work history where I have done conversion copy. I had my own company. I've done it for 2 or 3 other people. I've done that in the first company I worked for with Kelly. And so there's multiple different places where I can get the words conversion copywriting into my past work history, so that again, if somebody's searching for that, I'm more likely to show up because I got it kind of stacked in my profile. So what you need to think about is who you're trying to connect with. And some of you have multiple avatars, and that is fine. That is fine. I am going to tell you to think through the perfect avatar and who is most likely to be on LinkedIn. Because again, this is different. This is different than Instagram or Facebook. Okay. Instagram videos can go viral because of the topic of the video. And I have seen this on client accounts. You can have one video go viral, like millions of people, and then the next video could have like 500 views. Okay. It's really like merit based on pieces of content. LinkedIn has that to some extent, but what LinkedIn is doing is looking at, are you the type of person that this person would want to connect with? And then when that person goes and looks at your profile, they are confirming whether or not you're the type of person they want to connect with. Okay. So you want to create on your profile specificity around who should connect with you and why. What are they going to get out of this? Does that make sense to everybody? It's a slightly different game that you play on LinkedIn than when you're on Instagram. And Facebook's really all about who your friends are and who engages. So Facebook's looking at who engaged with this post last time. Let's go show it to more people like that, which is super different. It is terrible. It is terrible to have a pod of engagement on Facebook. Why? Because if you just have your team engage on things, all it does is show it to people that are just like your team. The opposite is true on LinkedIn. Because of LinkedIn's algorithm, anyone who engages on your post, who leaves a comment, that post is going to be shown in their feed. So it just got you in front of their audience. So it doesn't matter, because then if someone from their audience sees it and comments, it's going to show it to their audience. So it's a totally different thing in how those algorithms work. Okay. So number one most important thing is specificity and clarity in your profile. There are 8 million layers to this. I cannot go into all of them today, but just know this is critical because your profile sets the tone. It's literally programming LinkedIn to understand who you are, what you do, and who they should show your content to. Okay. So this alone has got to be so dialed in. Okay. That's number one. Number two, I have notes because I could talk about this forever. Your content. Your content has to make sense for whatever you programmed LinkedIn with. Okay. Whatever you told LinkedIn you do, your content has to be like a puzzle piece for what you said you do. That means you have to stay a little bit tighter with your like content pillars than you do on Instagram or Facebook. Okay. It's not as important that you are super, super specific with content pillars on Instagram and Facebook and even TikTok. Like you can kind of get away with stuff a little bit more there. On LinkedIn, you have to keep it pretty tidy. You have to keep it really dialed in. So what we kind of look at is what's your core competency and the specific things you have to talk about repeatedly. Okay. Whatever those things are, those are going to be in your content every single week. Usually every business and every person has probably like 2 to 3 of these that are absolutely core to what they do and how they service people. Okay. So that those 2 to 3 things are going to be in your content rotation every single week. The rest of the time, you're going to be able to basically choose a handful of other topics. So, for example, when I was really optimizing, and I'm actually about to change all this, but I'm saving it for when I'm doing the work with you guys, which is soon. If you're in the virtual business school, you're going to get all this awesome stuff for LinkedIn. So stick around. But when my profile was optimized for our marketing agency, which right now we're not accepting new clients for that, we are full and we just don't have any room anymore. Okay. But I spent about a year and a half building my profile around mainly marketing with kind of 2 other areas. So marketing was the main, like marketing strategy, brand building, like everything kind of fell in that bucket. And then specifically personal branding, because our agency works with personal brands. So it was marketing was one core, personal brands were the other. And then for a long time, and these swapped out based on the season and what we had space for, we did LinkedIn management and then we did email marketing. And there was a period of time where we did social media. So that was like my third core. And again, they swapped out depending on like what we were trying to fill because we didn't always have spots for everything. So I always talked about marketing, marketing strategy, marketing case studies, marketing news, what was changing in marketing, the difference between marketing and branding, like tons of marketing. And then I talked a lot about like why you should build a personal brand, how to build a personal brand, awesome personal brands that are being built right now, like all the things about personal branding, mistakes people make in personal branding. Okay. That was second. Third, it was kind of whatever the specific service I was trying to sell. So email marketing or LinkedIn, I would speak a lot about the strategy based on those things. Okay. Those were always my core topics. If you went to my profile, you would see that stuff in my banner. You would see it in my headline. You would see it in my about section. It was all very clear. Okay. Super consistent. Now, there were a couple of other things that I talked about that were those things that I kind of rotated in. Okay. So the first thing was like high performance and what it means to kind of have like a mentally tough mindset. Now, this makes sense because my audience was entrepreneurs, founders, right? People building something. That's who builds personal brands. Those are people that would resonate with that type of content. So it wasn't left field. It wasn't like talking about probiotics. It made sense for that, right? That was one. So I did 75 hard and I talked about why and what that was like. I talked about like leading teams and hiring mistakes and things like that. Things that had to do with leadership and like failures and lessons learned. Again, things that somebody who would be my ideal client would be interested in. They were like cousin topics, right? They weren't left field topics. They were cousin topics. They made sense for the audience. Okay. Those were things I rotated in and out of. I was a gymnast for years. I coached for 12 years. And so I would talk about like business and like an athlete's mindset. Again, kind of high performance related. Again, perfect for my avatar, right? There was no inconsistency. Nobody be like, oh, that's weird. Why is Danielle talking about that? It made perfect sense for who I was speaking to, right? So I had some flexibility in those other topics. It wasn't like I only ever talked about copywriting. Like that wasn't how it went. It was that there were these handful of topics that were in my content all the time. And then I had these peripheral topics that I wove in just occasionally so that I was interesting and people connected with me in different places. The last thing that I used to talk about was like faith based, like faith and work. And it's really interesting because on Facebook, I talk about faith more like personally, like my personal faith. On LinkedIn, I always talked about faith and work and how it impacted faith and work. Why? Because I was speaking to business owners, I'm speaking to people on a professional platform. They are likely at work. They are likely in a stage of working when they're consuming this content. So they're thinking about this in a totally different way than Facebook, where like all of my church friends are. Everybody I went to Bible college with is on that. Like it's a totally different vibe, even though my topics were sometimes the same. Okay. So those were all things that I rotated in and out. Again, it was not ever left field. They were always connected to business and business leadership, and largely 80% was connected to marketing in some capacity. Okay. So when you think about your content pillars, there has to be consistency, number one, with your profile. Like, hands down, if you don't do this, you will not get found by the right people. Nobody will want to talk to you, and you're going to have your content be seen by like nobody. Okay. So those two things are foundational. But then, Danielle, how do I get people in my pipeline? Okay, so those are like non-negotiables. You have to get this stuff dialed in. Once you have that dialed in, the second piece of this is knowing who to add to your network and how to start conversations. Okay, so knowing who to add to your network and how to start conversations. We do use Sales Navigator. It is worth the $99 a month. If you can't afford that right now, totally fine. But we highly recommend getting to a point like making some sales so you can do it. And it might even be 79. Like sometimes you get a deal. I don't know. We recommend if you can do it, do it. Oh yeah, it's free for the first 30 days. That's true. And the reason we do this is that we will build out lead lists. And again, please hear me, y'all. Please hear me. If you are not in VBS, like you got to get in there and learn how to build a sales pipeline, because none of this will matter if you don't know how to build relationships, start sales conversations, and close people. Okay. You cannot do this without that in place. But if you have a sales pipeline in place, if you understand the Dream 1000, if you're using our Miracle Hour system, this is like the perfect marriage. Like this is like chef's kiss perfection for our Miracle Hour system and Dream 1000 system, because whether you've got a full audience or no audience, you can pop your little data into Sales Navigator based on company size, revenue, title, industry, years of experience, location, whether or not they're posting on the platform and are even going to see your content. You can search for all of that, and then you can go make strategic connections. As people connect, you can start with the welcome message, and we have a whole process, and y'all, I'm going to update it and it's going to be so good. If you're in virtual business school, hang on, because I got some good stuff coming your way. You're going to take people through the process of connecting, welcoming, like with starting a conversation basically is what you're doing, qualifying, like continuing that conversation, and then putting them in the right place on your pipeline. So, okay, now's a good time to ask for like a sales call. I need to nurture this a little bit more. I'm going to just go in for, or maybe they're inbound because you've done such a good job with your content and your profile. I, at this point, get inbound leads because of that. So they go right into the pipeline, right to a sales call, and then maybe they need to follow up after. So there are multiple different stages of your pipeline that LinkedIn is going to meet for you, actually every stage. That if you have this system dialed in, if you understand the Dream 1000 and you understand the Miracle Hour, you are going to be able to go into LinkedIn every day, search for exactly the right people, engage on their content, start conversations, and book calls. every single day. You like it's such a perfect mixture of our system, our proven sales system and the platform because unlike Facebook and Instagram that is so dependent on an algorithm getting your content to the right person, even when you can search for people, if it's so difficult to get them to pay attention to you on those platforms. On LinkedIn, when you search, if you have a killer profile, you are going to be able to connect with people that would never pay attention to you otherwise. And what is so interesting is they're much more likely to accept your request on LinkedIn than they are on Instagram because often the bigger the people you're trying to connect with are on Instagram, the less likely they are to even see that you've requested. So they're not going to follow you. What is beautiful about what we teach inside the virtual business school is we give you the foundation and then you pop in link. If you could do your entire miracle hour every day on LinkedIn and book yourself up with calls. Like it's insane. It's insane if you do it right. But what most people do is that cringy, awful reason we all get off of LinkedIn. And it is why everyone hates LinkedIn. It is why I hate it. I roll my eyes constantly at this because I just don't understand it. But people will literally connect with you and like pitch you in the connection request. That is a surefire way to not get connected with. Or they'll do something like super basic and then pitch you right away and not even have a conversation, not even qualify you. Or they'll use in mails, which are even worse, where you're literally just pitching cold people who haven't even connected with you. We don't do that. Everybody put in the chat. We do not do that. We are smarter than that. We use LinkedIn like humans. We do not pitch slap people the second they open our message. Can I get an amen from anyone? Please never well, no, you got to pitch sometimes, Richard. We're here to make money. We're here to book calls. We are here to actually do business, but we're not going to be slimy and gross and annoying. What you do want to do is understand when the right time to pitch is and what to pitch specifically. So, what you get with marrying LinkedIn and our process is that you're going to have a group of people every day. And what's so beautiful about Sales Navigator is you can make lists in the platform, which is amazing. You are going to have a group every day that you are working long term on building a relationship with. So every day you're just going to comment on their posts. Every day you are going to say something meaningful on the content they're creating. When you get to a certain point of comfort in doing that, you're going to send them a message that is meaningful. Okay. There are people you're nurturing. Then there's going to be people who are in your DMs. They are literally like, they're talking to you. They are literally having conversations with you. And that group of people, you're going to make an offer. Maybe it's a low ticket offer. Maybe it is to get on your email list. Maybe it's to book a sales call. It's really going to be dependent on what you are working on and what your process looks like. But there are people who are going to be in that stage. And again, that could be a different list. There are going to be people who book sales calls but don't buy from you right away. Now, if you're in the virtual business school, you're much more likely to close those sales calls because you get the one conversation close. But there will be people who don't close right away. We're just seeing people needing longer. They need more calls to close if you sell high ticket, which is totally fine because you're going to make a whole other list. You're going to make a whole other list in your Sales Navigator where you are following up. And again, you're going to go back and you're going to comment on their posts and you're going to stay top of mind for them. You're going to basically take our plug and play proven sales process, head on over to LinkedIn, make your new connections, nurture your old connections, make your offers, and then nurture your people who you're waiting on them to come back and say yes. Literally it. You're taking our process that we teach you inside of Virtual Business School, sitting down with your LinkedIn open. You could do it on your phone or you could do it on your computer. You could do it in about an hour a day. You're going to pull out your Sales Navigator lists and you're going to go through them step by step. And if you don't know how to do this, number one, if you're in Virtual Business School, we're going to show you. So have no fear. If you're not in Virtual Business School, you can get in there for $49 a month with no contract. So trust me, the bonus is coming up. You're going to want to get in there. All right. So you've got your profile dialed in. You're programming LinkedIn with this is who I am. This is who you should show my stuff to. Number two, you've got a content strategy with content pillars that make sense. for your profile and what you say that you do. Number 3, you are using Sales Navigator to find and connect with people because the third pillar was making sure that there's the right audience connected to you, right? So you told LinkedIn that you work with entrepreneurs, then your new connections should be people running businesses, right? Like you should be filling your connections with people running businesses. Now, you can't control who follows you. Like anybody can come follow you, and that's fine. So, whoever wants to come follow you, let them come follow you. I have like over 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. A lot of them are not ideal clients. They just, I don't know, like something I wrote. But when I am actively connecting with people or accepting requests, I am only connecting with and accepting requests from people who are ideal buyers, people who I think could be ideal collaborators, or like personal friends. If I know you, I will connect with you, even if you're not ideal. And that's fine because most people that are connecting with me are not like personal connections that I have. But those are the only groups of people I will connect with. I won't go look for people who aren't in that avatar like range, and I won't accept requests from people. Now, I did for a long time, and I regretted it because then I had to go back through and like disconnect from people, which is like brutal because there's no quick way to do it. So if you're new and starting this, like you're perfect, like sweet, good for you. But if you are someone who's more established, it's okay. Just like if you've done it, if you've accepted all the things, it's fine. Just like from now on, only connect with the right people and only accept requests from the right people. Okay, so you've got your profile, you've got your content, you've got your connections, then you've got your conversations. Who are you talking to? There are 2 ways that you talk to people: in the comments and then in the DMs. In the comments and in the DMs. You should be spending a bulk of your time on LinkedIn commenting thoughtfully on ideal client posts and on the posts where your ideal clients hang out, on their actual posts and on the posts where they hang out. This is the quickest way to get on someone's radar and basically take your brilliance, leave a meaningful comment, get seen by somebody who would never see you, and then they come check your profile, and now you get to start a conversation. Okay. So it is such an important thing to leave meaningful comments in the right place. And again, we teach you a full strategy for this inside the virtual business school. It is a lot. I can't go into it today. We have a whole system, to be fair. And to be honest, it takes a little time when you're learning. It does take some time when you're learning. We've gotten it down now where you can do basically everything in an hour. But when you're learning how to do this, it's going to take you a minute to get organized, to get things rolling. But commenting is critical. Like it is so, so, so important. And there have been people who've studied, like multiple people now at this point, who they posted a bunch and commented, right? And they watched their growth and then their sales conversations. And obviously, posting and commenting are like the highest level, right? Like you're going to get the most growth and you're going to get the most conversation started. But then we've seen people where they've stopped posting and only engage. That's the only thing they did every day. And they basically still grew and still started sales conversations. Not at the rate when they were doing both, but there was one guy who went like 45 days without posting, and all he did was commenting and engaging, and he still booked 50% more posts than when he was doing, 50% more calls than when he was doing none of the engagement. Okay. So just know that this is a massive, massive needle mover for you. And again, inside the virtual business school, we teach you a full A to Z strategy. And to be fair, it's good on all platforms, not just LinkedIn. Because remember that story I told you at the beginning where I got shut down? You can get shut down on LinkedIn too. We teach you a full strategy to do this. And we teach specifics on how to do this on LinkedIn because, again, it's a bit different. It's not exactly the same on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, but the idea is the same. The idea is the same. So, commenting every day. We recommend doing a cadence of new connections, commenting, posting, commenting again, replying to any comments on your post, and then you can finish up with some more new connections. That's sort of the flow we recommend. And it doesn't have to always be that way, but that is the strategy and the flow that we use when we're running accounts for clients, when we're doing this on our own accounts. But your conversations that you're having on the feeds are so important because they get you in front of your ideal people in a way that's really non-invasive. It's really just like, hey, I'm the cool person over here who's a real expert at this thing. Look at my awesome comments. And then they start like checking you out, which is really cool because that's where you start getting some inbound stuff from, which is amazing. It's so much better to get inbound than outbound, but it does take some time to build. So that's one place on the feed. Then the second place is going to be in the DMs. The the culture in the DMs on LinkedIn is like so bad. It's if you could even like mildly learn half of our strategy, literally, like if you just barely did half of our strategy, you would stand out so much on LinkedIn because everyone is just a complete fool on LinkedIn. And this happens on other platforms, but like way more on LinkedIn. It's very strange. I don't know why. I guess because everyone told their sales reps to go to LinkedIn and like be weird. I don't know why. It's just such a strange thing on LinkedIn. Like people get so turned off by it. There is a really, really great way. We teach a couple of different strategies, but generally speaking, message we don't send messages when we do connection requests. Instead, we wait for someone to connect back with us. We let our profile that we just totally dialed in do the work for us. And then when they connect with us, we do like a welcome message, do some qualifying, and then make a recommendation based on wherever the conversation goes. And we have specific templates. We have specific frameworks that we teach you inside the virtual business school. So again, if you're not in the virtual business school, you can join us for $49 a month and get all of this. And you can cancel at any time. So if you're not in there, get in there. Jessica, some of them are bots, and then unfortunately, some of them are people, which is even sadder. So yeah, the bots are out of control. We do not use any bots or any automation on LinkedIn. We do not use any bots or any automation on LinkedIn. I have tested them all. None of them are approved by the platform. They can all get you kicked off. None of them are approved. Like Instagram and Facebook have approved automated partners. LinkedIn doesn't. And so it's all a risk. And if you read all of their terms, they'll all say, oh, we have this way of like fooling the algorithm. Like it's shady. So we don't do any automation. We do like literal like people in the DMs, and we teach a whole strategy for people to not be that weird guy who is pitch slapping constantly. And then like 4 minutes later, like, did you read my message from above? And you're like, what the heck? No. Okay. So you've got your profile, you've got your content, you've got your outbound connections, who you're bringing into your network, you've got your conversations on the feed, you've got your conversations in the DMs. There needs to be consistency between all of those things. And then you have to be basically creating a rhythm where LinkedIn knows what to expect from you, knows the type of people that want your content, knows the type of people that are likely to connect with you, and then it just starts all working for you. Now, it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of fake support. And we do a bunch of things. We have a community pod. We teach you a full A to Z, like kind of messaging strategy. We teach you how to pull people and put them in the right place on your pipeline. And basically, you are going to take everything we teach you inside the Dream 1000 and inside the Dream 1000 and your Miracle Hour. You're going to use the pipeline sales navigator to fill your pipeline, and then you're going to just rinse and repeat every single day. Rinse and repeat. We're not getting crazy. We're not getting clever. We're not doing hard stuff. We are literally just dialing in this process over there on LinkedIn. So if you're like, Danielle, this is all great. I would love a million more hours of this. Trust me, I can do this for a million more hours, specifically about LinkedIn. but it is 8 o'clock and I want to have some time for questions. And so I'm going to wrap things up here shortly. I will answer questions. So stick around. If you have questions, I will get to those, leave them in the chat. But I am going to share with you the virtual business school. And if you are not in it, or if you're in it, this is going to be fun for you. We have some killer bonuses that are available that are specific to LinkedIn. And I'm actually like really excited about it because I'm sort of reviving my own LinkedIn for some different purposes now. Again, our agency is not accepting new clients. And so I'm dialing it in for some other things that we haven't really used it for. So I'm going to do this whole process with you, and I'm really, really excited. But we have a couple of bonuses that I'll share in just a minute that are LinkedIn related. If you are someone who is not in our virtual business school right now, our virtual business school has members who are brand new in business and members who have sold 9-figure companies. And they're all in virtual business school. And you're like, Danielle, how is that possible? Here's how this is possible. What we teach inside the virtual business school is an A to Z sales system. If you want to make consistent sales for your business, this is where you need to be. That is it. Proven. We have generated millions of dollars for our own companies using the systems we teach inside the virtual business school. Our clients, people, and some of them are probably on this call so they can chime in. Our clients come into the virtual business school and they make back their investment sometimes in that day, sometimes within 2 to 3 days. We've had people 20x their investment in 2 weeks. We literally have people come in, use one template that we teach inside of our sales system and make back 4 times their investment. This week, we had someone come in, use one template, make a $3,000 sale. We've had members use one template and make 11K from a post, one post. We have had members who run 7-figure businesses say, oh my gosh, listening to the Dream 1000 and Miracle Hours system, like totally gave me clarity on exactly what I need to do every day. I understood all of these things, but this just was so practical, gave me exactly what I needed to now go implement. And they're using that to generate referrals for a local private practice. We have we have a mortgage broker in there who he's crushing it. He's getting referral partners from other realtors. He's getting direct clients. Like we have people in here from all walks of life, all stages of business, all different types of businesses and companies. They are taking our proven sales system that has generated millions of dollars in sales, whether you launch or not, and they are implementing it. They're implementing it on LinkedIn, some of them are implementing it on Facebook, some of them are on Instagram, some of them are everywhere, and they're doing it in all the places. There is no, we're completely platform agnostic, so you can use this strategy anywhere. You do not need to run thousands of dollars in ads. You do not need complicated tech funnels. You will not spend 8 months building a funnel that doesn't work because that's what happens. You will not spend hours and hours learning how to create a course that nobody buys. We are literally giving you a simple system that you can do yourself, or if you've got a team, a lot of our multi-million-dollar business owners buy virtual business school for their teams. They pull their sales teams in there and they say, hey, I want you to learn this strategy and I want you to implement it every day. Now, the cool thing about the virtual business school is you not only get our proven sales system, which again has generated millions of dollars in sales for our companies. It has generated, I don't know how much in total, but I imagine close to 7 figures in revenue for our clients, our members who are using it. We have hundreds of members who are all using it. They're making sales. So it has generated so much revenue for our members. It is $49 a month with no contract or $539 for the year. So it is a no-brainer if you are someone who's like, yes, I need a system that is going to create reliable, consistent income. This is the strategy and system that you need. But what's really cool is it's not just some passive course. You are going to get every month a new training that's dropped by Kelly Roach, who's our founder, or another 7 to 9 figure CEO that we bring in. You are going to get a live Q&A session with our team. So as you're implementing and learning and growing, you are able to ask questions to real people who are full-time employees, not contractors who are there part-time. They are full-time there to support you. You get a live marketing masterclass with me, and the next one is this Wednesday. And guess what it's on? How to optimize your LinkedIn profile and content strategy. So you could literally be on a call with me this Wednesday at 1 p.m. live, so you can ask me any of your questions, going through how to optimize your profile. And this has changed a little bit in the last 6 months. So if you've ever done something with me, it's a little different. You are going to want to get on this call. I'm going to walk you through every section of your profile. We're going to talk about how to optimize it. Then we're going to talk about content and how to build a strategy based on your profile. So I'm walking you through it A to Z this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And if you can't be there live, you get the recording. But every month you get a live marketing masterclass with me. Then the following week, you get a live co-working session with our team. And that is largely going to be based on our marketing masterclass, where they give you specific templates, where they give you specific feedback and structure. Ashlyn, who helps run that, she has run by herself like 8 trillion LinkedIn accounts. She used to work in our agency, and then we promoted her to only work on Kelly's brand. And but she has so much knowledge when it comes to LinkedIn. So she's going to be on that call with you live after this week. You get to do that call with her. And then every month, whatever the topic is in the marketing masterclass, you're going to do an implementation session there. So we're keeping you up to date on all the marketing things that change, but we're also giving you sales templates every single month. So DMs to send, text messages to send, sometimes it's social media posts. It just depends on what the lessons and focus was for that month. But every month you get new sales templates. And these templates are what is making our clients so much money. Like they're just using them and then making money, which is a pretty sweet deal. The beautiful thing about this is that when you come in, you're going to learn our Dream 1000 and Miracle Hour system, which is going to fit so perfectly into LinkedIn. Like, I think it's easiest on LinkedIn to implement this strategy than any other platform, because of the way you can search for people. So super simple, so easy. You get all of that, but we have 2 bonuses. And Nicole, if you can get me, yes. Oh, thank you. And okay, so these 2 bonuses, you're going to get live sessions with me, and they're kind of hitting 2 separate parts of everything we talked about tonight. So remember I was saying how I have a new system for starting sales conversations and generating conversations that actually lead to sales. Well, I'm going to do a live intensive where I basically walk you through a process of how to welcome someone into your ecosystem and then start conversations, like actually lead the conversation with just an incredibly easy, simple process so that you don't look weird and you don't look like that weird guy who's like pitching immediately. I'm going to walk you through this live. It's like an hour and a half, 2-hour session where you get to be live with me going through the actual process of starting, nurturing, and converting conversations. So whether that's getting people on a sales call, or getting people on your email list, or getting people to buy something low ticket, you are going to have access to this training. So this is the sales side of it. Okay. And that this is the money side. Y'all, this is the money. And this is the stuff no one teaches. Everyone's teaching you how to go viral on LinkedIn. You don't need to go viral on LinkedIn to make money. You just need to know how to start good conversations and continue them and get people on phone calls. That's it. The second thing is, because I know y'all love it, because I know you can't help yourselves, and that's okay, because I think the more people you get in front of, the more people are going to come inbound as leads for you. And so I'm actually going to do a LinkedIn algorithm breakdown. And again, this has changed because these social media platforms love to keep us guessing, and they love to keep us on the struggle bus. And so the LinkedIn algorithm, of course, has changed again. And so I'm going to do an entire session, a different live session where I walk you through the new algorithm changes and basically what you need to know to get your content seen by the right people. So just to summarize, if you join us, okay, if you join us before tomorrow at 11:59 p.m., before tomorrow at 11:59 p.m., you get the A to Z sales system inside the virtual business school that goes so perfectly with LinkedIn. You get the monthly business training. You get the monthly Q&A session. You get the monthly marketing masterclass with me, which is this month, actually this week, Wednesday, is how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and how to create a content pillar strategy that fits your LinkedIn profile. And you get to ask me questions live. So that's pretty cool. And then you're going to get these 2 bonuses, how to do social selling on LinkedIn specifically. I'm going to teach you how to not be a like slimy salesman, not to look like a bot. So simple. It's so human. It's so like not gross. And then I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about the algorithm. My one disclaimer here is I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about the algorithm, and then you're going to have to come back to another algorithm class in 6 months, which I do often. If you're in virtual business school, you know I do these often because they change. So I'm going to teach you everything I know about it now, and then in 6 months we're going to change it again, and we'll have to do this again. But that's okay, because if you're a member of the virtual business school, you get the most up-to-date marketing trainings. Like, I am teaching you all the new stuff so that when these things change, we just do another masterclass and we're like, wait, this is what you need to know. So when you're in the virtual business school, you get the timeless sales strategy. That's our proven system that's like used anywhere. And then you get all of the up-to-date stuff, which in marketing is so, so, so important, because marketing stuff changes, honestly, at this rate with AI, like faster than most people can keep up with. But good news for you, you don't have to keep up with it. You get to just come to our sessions and implement what I say is working, because we test a lot of junk and I know what doesn't work. And then you get to just go and do those things. So this is an incredible time to get in, because if you join us before tomorrow night, you are getting these LinkedIn bonuses. You'll get to be on that class with me tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And if you can't be there live, no worries. You can just get the recording. It will be a game changer. Y'all, this is the LinkedIn playbook. I am giving you everything you need A to Z, between what I'm doing Wednesday for all members and then what everybody gets as a bonus. This is the playbook. This is it. You won't need anything else other than an understanding of our Dream 1000 and Miracle Hour system. That's it. So, if you're not in already, again, you can get in for $49 a month with no contract, because we know how good this is. You're never going to want to leave. And there's tons of members here who will tell you that. If you do the pay in full, you get not just the bonuses that are available now, and we do have some other bonuses available. You can see them on the sales page, but you get all of the bonuses that come for the full year you're a member. So basically, if you join for a year right now, you're going to get all the painful bonuses right now. And then when we launch again, you're going to get all those bonuses. And then when we launch again, you're going to get all those bonuses. People are upset. Like, our bonuses are out of control amazing. They are so, so valuable. Honestly, 1 or 2 of them like could make you back your double, triple, quadruple the investment. People are obsessed with our bonuses. And what is so cool is that when you sign up as a painful member, you get all the painful bonuses for the full year, which is like such a sweet deal. So I'm going to stay on for just a handful of minutes to answer any questions. If you have them, pop them in. Okay. Yes, if you want to upgrade, you can. A love coach, wonder if this works. Absolutely, Jessica. It has worked for other coaches in that industry, because people on LinkedIn want to find love. Nothing special about Instagram or Facebook when it comes to love. Okay, sorry, I can't see all these. Elle, if you didn't join, so sorry, I should have been more clear about that. The 2 bonuses that were on the screen are for pay in full members only. The class, the marketing masterclass about the profile and the content, that's for everybody, because that's just our monthly masterclass. So you will get that. The social selling and algorithm class are for pay in full only. Everything's in USD. What else you got for me? Gurpreet, that's awesome. You're in good hands. If you are someone who's already a monthly member and you want those painful bonuses, you can upgrade through that link and then we'll just cancel your future payments. How does one upgrade it? Oh, I just said that, Barbara. So if you are a monthly member and you want to upgrade to our pay in full, all you have to do is go ahead and click the link, do the pay in full, and then shoot a message over to Ignacio and he will cancel all of your future monthly payments. All right, who's going to be on this call with me? Guys, if you are new and you're like, I don't know, Danielle, if I want to do this, no worries, $49. Get in here, do this class with me, and then you'll be on your way. And if you love the class, you can upgrade. And if you don't, no worries. Can this help me with body sculpting business? Yeah, Raquel. I mean, where I see this being super powerful for you is because of the ability to search locally on LinkedIn. You can find some local collaborators that would be great referral partners. That's probably how I would use this on LinkedIn. Not to mention, you could also just make connections with people at certain income levels and with certain titles who could potentially afford cool body sculpting in your city. So yes, is the short answer. Can you please explain if connecting with non-ideal people hurts your algorithm? It does, if you do it enough, and what the reason. I think I explained this, Jen, but basically, if you're consistently, it's not going to hurt if you just do it every now and then. But like if you're constantly connecting with people who are not your ideal people, you're confusing the algorithm. You said you work with these people, your content's for these people, and then you're connecting with these people. The algorithm's not sure. And so it's going to just start putting your content, like it's going to make your content less visible. If I'm an attorney, but also a coach, do I need two separate accounts? Jessica, that really depends on your goals. So what I would say is get in virtual business school and I would need more information. You can't really have two different personal accounts. So it really depends on what specific goals you have for each of those positions and how you'd want to use LinkedIn. So in the past, because I run multiple companies, I have used like my Instagram account for one company and my LinkedIn account for another company because of how important it is to be like specific on LinkedIn. But there's a lot of variables I would need to know for that. Oh my gosh, y'all are fast. For the social selling bonus, do you give this sales framework on that bonus? Yeah. The proven sales framework that we use on all platforms is part of virtual business school. So everyone who joins, even if you do the $49 a month, you're going to get our proven sales framework, which is our Dream 1000 and Miracle Hour system. You're going to get that. And then Elle, for you specifically, you're also going to get this trust building offer series that Kelly did, which is going to be so, so helpful to you. So that's for everybody. And then if you do the pay in full, you get the social selling bonus and the algorithm bonus. So that's for only pay in full people, but everyone who joins, even if you do the $49 a month, gets the proven sales process, which you can then use you could do that process. You could take it and use it on LinkedIn. For the profit push last week, there were some additional bonus coming out. Jennifer, connect with one of the team members on that and they can look for what you specifically purchased. I'm not 100% sure what you're asking there. Okay. Make sure you have a sales process before we do the Miracle Hour. No, Jessica, the Dream 1000 and Miracle Hour are the sales process. I was saying that I want you have to have a sales process before you dive headfirst into LinkedIn expecting to make sales. Dream 1000 and Miracle Hour are a sales process. You take those two frameworks over to LinkedIn, you're good to go. Yeah, you definitely need a company page and we cover all of this. What if I shift my LinkedIn account to focus on my metabolism coaching for women leaders? Yeah, Jennifer, I don't know how different is that space that you're being tagged in all the time? Like how far away from that? Like how far away from the metabolism is it? I guess that's the question I would ask you. It's possible it It can do both. It just depends on how related they are. And you can, Jen, if you want to message me, just message me. Timothy, the team will confirm that. On the algorithm, given I am an interior designer, my market is C-suite professionals. So is that affecting my results? C-suite professionals, then the only place I would go is LinkedIn, except for like Pinterest for an interior designer. But you can literally search for the exact titles. You can search for CEO, CXO, CMO. Like you can literally search for them in your city, certain company size, certain company revenue. Like you can 100, this is what I would spend 80% of my marketing on. Yeah, Jennifer, will you message me? Cause I need some more info on that. Yep, Gurpreet, I agree. That's why we spent this time kind of talking about what you're organizing and how you're building consistency between who you say you are, who you serve, and the sales conversations you have. I'm very, very clear that I do not, on any social media platform, not just LinkedIn, I do not think anybody should build their marketing around an algorithm because they change. We have never taught you to build your marketing around hacking an algorithm, nor do we ever want you to do that. However, it is very important that you understand how social media platforms work and the basics of the algorithms, because if you don't, then nobody's going to see your content and you're wasting time. So there's a fine balance. We never ever have taught to hack algorithms or to focus on that or focus on going viral. Like I started this conversation and said, hey, this is really for dialing in your sales process. You also can't completely ignore it. You know, like if you're still posting a static photo on Instagram, it's not going to do well. Like you have to understand basics. And so there's a marriage there, but that doesn't mean you slant your strategy towards that. Timothy, there is not, but that's okay because I'm gonna get you up to speed on this LinkedIn stuff. And Ashlyn is on our implementation calls and knows so much about this. So you're gonna have tons of support from the team as you're building. And honestly, I so much prefer this because then you aren't coming to the table with like any sort of weird stuff about what's right and what's wrong. All right. Cool. All right, guys, it is 8:18. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I want to see everyone on this call with me Wednesday. Please do not get off this without at least doing the $49. Even if you just do the $49, get on the call with me Wednesday. If you love it, amazing. You can continue, you can upgrade then if you want to. If not, then totally fine. But $49, get on this call with me. It's worth it just for Wednesday's call. If you're already a member, you guys get this. So like, yay. And then Jessica, I'm going to talk about all the things with business pages and personal pages and all of that. So you're good. And actually, Ashlyn, again, you can ask her all of that info. She knows very, very well. If you are a member, you will get the calendar that has the Zoom link with all the information you need. Okay. And yes, the templates, the new templates are being sent out. I sent them to the team. So Jen, you are getting those. Okay. Harmony, as long as Harmony asked what she should watch before Wednesday inside the virtual business school, I would just make sure you've gone through the Dream 1000 and Miracle Hour and the trust building offers stuff that Kelly did. I will say what I'm doing on Wednesday, you don't need to have gone through anything because we're just optimizing your profile and content strategy to meet your profile so that it makes sense. So you don't have to do any of that yet. Now, I will say before the social selling training, you're going to want to have gone through the Dream 1000 and the Miracle Hour. So, but that's not like right away. That's in a couple weeks. So you have some time for that. For Wednesday's training, you just need to have your LinkedIn account ready. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful night. I can't wait to see you guys inside. Yay, Timothy's in and a couple other people. And I will see you guys. I've got some other stuff this week. Kelly's back here Wednesday with another cool training. So pay attention to those emails and text messages, and I will see everybody in the virtual business school. Bye.